Hi everyone, this is Pat, the cereal gamer. Now at the dawn of the release of the small fridge and the massive sandwich, I think it's important to remember the first modern console shift that happened. Like when Nintendo released the Super NES with one of the best games of all time right in the box, Super Mario World. Closing in at the end of the 80s, Nintendo of Japan was seeing its 8-bit NES dominance slipping away by some pretty stiff 16-bit competition, the TurboGrafx 16, which was much more popular in Japan than in the West, and the Sega Genesis. The big wigs at Nintendo saw they needed to do something big, and something 16-bit they did with the SNES. They needed something to help the consumer decide which one to buy. Something big that was in the box when the people bought the console. That's when a yellow-caped superhero named Mario came to the scene after 2 years in the oven in Super Mario World. The team had to learn how to use the new toys, but they were less limited with technical stuff, like in Mario Bros. 3, so let's see what they came up with. Well, presentations-wise, that's what you call a console jump. Compared to any game on the NES, it's all bright and colorful, and there's barely any slowdown. The sprites and animation also have much more personality than before. Music-wise, as Mario 3 had a largely relaxed and chill mood to it, in Mario World we get a much more happy and fun vibe. Also, something I actually noticed recently, most of the soundtrack is built around the same melody. Story-wise, it seems they actually weren't even trying. One day, Mario, Luigi and Princess Toadstool decided to go on a vacation on Dinosaur Island. Bowser kidnaps the princess. On their way, Mario and Luigi also meets Yoshi, who needs help rescuing his colorful friends. But as the story of the game is nothing to shout home about, it does have a much more adventurous feeling to it. You start off on Yoshi's Island, and right after level 1, you can already get a glimpse of what is waiting for you. Instead of the many maps of Mario 3, Mario World has only the one giant map of Dinosaur Island. And seeing as it's an island, you do have a forest, caves, icy caves and lakes for example, but you won't find snowy mountains right beside the desert for example, because that would be stupid. Also, the various areas are often named after foods, like Donut Plains, Cookie Bridge, Vanilla Dome, which doesn't mean much actually, but we all needed Chocolate Island, right? Even the lavas had chocolate. Anyway, getting hungry here, back to Mario. He pretty much controls as his usual self, running, jumping, and I think his controls and physics are absolutely perfect. His normal walking speed is a bit slow, but 99% of the time I just hold down the run button anyway. Also, Mario has now learned the spin jump. It's not as high as the regular jump, but it enables him to destroy bricks with his feet, or to obliterate his enemies. Power-ups wise, Mario did lose all of those from Mario 3 except for the Fire Flower. Instead of the Raccoon Leaf, he gets the overpowered Cape Feather, which does enable him to fly after a run jump, and after a little practice you could skip an entire level with it. He also has a dive attack that I never used, and you can also spam the weapon of mass destruction that is the spin attack. That is much more useful than the tail attack from Mario 3, even in the water. You might even keep an item in reserve in those deep pockets of his. Speaking of which, seeing as Mario 3 was just a play, why would he bring all of his suits on a vacation? Instead, he meets up with the absolute freak of nature called Yoshi. Of course, Mario rides him like a horse, which was an idea that was floating around since Mario 1 actually. Now get this, Yoshi can eat enemies and power-ups, which has an effect on Mario. Somehow. If it's a Koopa he devours, he can just spit it out of course, but depending on the color, he will be able to fly, breathe fire, or cause an earthquake for a while. Seriously, just what is this thing? And although he will go to the ends of the land anywhere on the map with you, he's too scared of ghost houses and trap-filled castles. One thing I liked is that after you clear the first castle, this is where the true fun begins for me. In Mario 3, no matter the world, you always saw the way before you. In Mario World, you always see the map, but the path before you always builds itself up as you clear levels, and the map might slightly change as you go along, giving this game a nice sense of exploration and discovery. What it might lack in setting variety though, it makes up for in challenge variety. And in case you forgot, this is Dinosaur Island, where you'll find not only dinosaurs, but while the bullet bills are massive, giant monsters leap from the lava, caterpillars have a temper, and even the Goombas are harder. Some of these monsters do have more to complain about than others though. Man, what did I sign up for this? That pay's not worth it. I'll have to tell my union about this. If in Mario 3 fortresses were sometimes filled with ghosts or lava and various challenges on a whim, here ghost houses have the otherworldly enemies and are often the most puzzle-filled levels, while random fortresses and Koopa Link's castles have a more direct approach to the challenge, so you know a bit more of what to expect before going in. And although like any Mario game, Mario World is a buffet of pure platforming bliss like any other, even though you could argue that technically it has fewer levels than Mario 3, it adds two things that makes this game shine like the divine holy grail that it actually is. First of all, you can save your game, only after finishing a castle or a ghost house, but it's better than the nothing of Mario 3 that forced you to spend 4 hours straight glued to the TV for a normal playthrough. And second, you can replay most levels as many times as you want to find all the secrets they have to offer. And to accommodate for all these secrets to find, the levels are longer, and there's usually a checkpoint in the middle. Thank you. Speaking of secrets, as you explore the map, you will notice that a few level dots are yellow or red. Yellow dots are your average levels, you know, you run around stopping the general population, avoiding obstacles and jumping through the finish line like the Mushroom Kingdom champion of justice that you are. And then you get a nice bonus when you hit 100. Oh my god, this is the first time it happened to me! Jackpot, mom! Anyway, when it's a red dot, it's the same thing really, but there's a secret exit somewhere which will lead you to another part of the map, and this secret exit might ask you to find a key and insert it into the void. Seriously, what am I looking at? Or it might simply be another finish line for which you will need to use your best friend, giving him massive trust issues. Forever. And these secret exits lead to more levels of course, but jumping ahead a bit, unlike in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, it's more than 1 or 2 levels. See this upper path here? You go there via the secret exits, and that's the bigger part of World 4 by the way. Later in the game you have no choice but to find the secret exits, as the normal exit will just circle you back. You can also find a hidden switch palace that will turn these dotted invisible blocks into exclamation mark blocks that will unlock more secrets or make the game easier without taking you for a complete idiot. But the main reason you want to find the hidden paths is to find the Elusive Star Road, which is more of a shortcut than a warp zone really, as you need to find other exits to be able to get anywhere. And how do you dig your way forward here? You guessed it, with secret exits, as the normal one will just circle you back. Also, quick little detail I just didn't know where to put really, but fortresses and castles crumble when you finish them. But you can hold the L and R button as you press A to get back in. Yes, hiding this behind a cheat code is a bit stupid, I won't lie. I mentioned earlier how the game still has worlds despite its open-endedness, and not only are all the castles different, but the bosses do have their differences this time. They still go down like nothing, but it's varied at least. And when they're done, Mario finishes off the castles, either by blowing it up, kicking it away, or by wounding nature, and I always love these little scenes. And as for the Big Bowser himself, well, that's when things get weird. So you can get to his excellent castles the good old way by completing the Valley of Bowser in Castle 7, but he also has a Star Road warp right next to his castle. The only one you don't need to find on the map by the way, meaning you could almost skip the entire game to find him, and if that's not dumb enough, he has a back door that leads almost straight to his fight. And what's up with the Crown Car? Look, Disney did a whole movie explaining why the Death Star has a hole with a big arrow on it. Nintendo, there's something to do here, okay? But Bowser is far from being the hardest challenge in the game. That would go to the secret within the secret within the secret itself, the Special World. A special stage that involves the hardest levels in the game, and they're all named in the 80s and 90s cool lingo, like way cool, tubular, and awesome! And why not what it tell, my bunch of cowabungas? And when you clear all that, the whole game gets an Halloween/autumn theme. And why do Koopas wear Mario faces? It's probably because they're actually disguised as monsters. Anyway, as you might have guessed, it's the most you don't say thing I will say in this video, but this game is awesome. The exploration and adventure vibe this game has, without it being overloaded with gimmicks, helps it keeping the right balance for this sort of game, and it knows when to end. The only nitpick that annoys me is that they could have found 4 more exits so that your 100% completed save file doesn't look weird, instead of having all the 96 exits. Other than that, it all comes down to this. In my opinion, this is the crown jewel of classic 2D Mario games, with Mario 3 very close behind. Only because Mario World feels more cohesive and less all over the place. But hey, if you think Mario 3 is the best one, I understand perfectly. It happens to me too sometimes, depending on the day of the week. If you think Lost Levels is the best one, okay, I'll try not to judge you. Maybe. And yes, we can't ignore the fact that one of the best platformers of all time came packed in for free with a console. That was a good habit Nintendo had back then. So yeah, for me, Mario World is the best classic Mario title. But I'm curious to know which yours is in the comments. Is it Mario 3 or another one? And at long last, jumping on the SNES made me really want to play more games on it. But unfortunately, I still have a few more games to go. So in the next few videos, I'll be finishing off these last 2 NES RPGs just to get these over and done with. So subscribe to not miss it, ring that bell, and I'll be seeing you guys then. Bye bye.